In his 10-year journey on YouTube, TechnoBlade has changed the lives of millions. From inspiring an entire generation to raising hundreds of thousands in his fight against cancer, TechnoBlade has become an inspiration to us all, as the man who laughed in the face of death, and as the champion of our journey. Today, we tell his story. For as long as we remember him in our hearts, he will never die, and instead live on in memory as the legacy of TechnoBlade. Like most stories, we can trace our hero's journey back to that of humble origins. For heroes are not born, but molded. Our journey begins 15 years ago on July 25th, 2009. At this point, TechnoBlade didn't exist, but Alex did. At the age of 9, he began to create content, determined to do what he loved no matter what challenges came his way. Using his dad's old phone, he began to make stop-motion films, but it didn't stop there. After his mind was set on something, nothing could stop him from achieving his goal. Over the next few years, he uploaded on and off content on Team Fortress 2, which is uploaded to his channel called Studio Lore. Just 4 years later, he had accumulated an impressive 47 subscribers. But soon, this was all going to change, because here came a new game. One that shook the world to its core. A game that would forever change the world of gaming. A small game called Minecraft. On October 28th, Alex left the safety of his Studio Lore channel and set out on the adventure of a lifetime. Although he didn't know it yet, this one decision led to the creation of one of the most influential channels on YouTube. This is the birth of TechnoBlade. Unshockingly, Techno got bored of single-player Minecraft and gravitated towards small PvP servers. It was here where he felt alive, being able to challenge himself against other players. However, he quickly outgrew the small servers as he seeked for a harder challenge. He could have chosen to join Mineplex, the largest server at the time, but instead, he chose an up-and-coming server called Hypixel. For the first 6 months of his journey, he did nothing but Hunger Games. This gave him the thirst for PvP that he needed, and he quickly rose to become one of the best players. But despite his skill and witty humor, his channel remained stagnant. He needed to do something drastic to stand out. And so, he began a mission. He would find the best players in Hunger Games and kill them, making montages out of his accomplishments. This move was decisive, allowing him to gain over 14,000 subscribers in the next year and a half. And then, Hypixel released a new game that was unlike anything else ever seen, Skywars. Seeing another outlet to challenge his PvP skills and grow his channel, he hopped on the bandwagon. Within a few months, he had secured a spot in the Masters division, reserved for the top 10 players in the world. Even the most competitive games weren't enough for Techno. He needed more. Over the next 2 years, he continued to win the hearts of the community as he grew to over 100,000 subscribers. And this is when Hypixel released their newest challenge. Games so random and so different that it took the community by storm. Bed Wars. Hypixel's release of Bed Wars was a huge success, skyrocketing them past Mineplex to take the spot as the biggest Minecraft server. With this new game came new players and a new challenge for Techno, but it wasn't enough. One day, he looked at his stats and realized that he had won 349 games in a row. By accident. Nothing could stop this man. So logically, he decided that he was going to set a record for the longest win streak ever. But he had to do it right. So he assembled a super squad of Bed Wars players to take down the world record once and for all. Grinding nothing but 4v4s, the team was intent on breaking the record, and it looked like nothing could stop them. He uploaded his first video breaking the record on September 23rd, 2017, and so began the Great Bed Wars race. At a streak of 600 wins, the race grew so big that it got the attention of Simon himself, the owner of Hypixel. If Techno could reach a 1,000 win streak, he would give Techno $2,500 of store credit to give to his fans. This race was no longer about personal glory, but about his community. Either Techno would continue the grind or fail in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and so the grind continued. He was unstoppable, beating teams left, right, and center. Powering through constant obstacles and stress, Techno continued his grind, until October 14th, when TechnoBlade reached a 1,000 win streak. But this was far from over. For the rest of October, Techno and his super squad would continue to grind until the only thing stopping them was themselves. The record began to feel more like an obligation than the fun game it was meant to be. So, on Techno's 1,400th win, he ended it all. This record held for a whopping 4 months before being broken again. But with a great race behind him, Techno continued his journey where his channel began to stagnate. That is, until June 2019, when 2 channel-defining trends took place at the exact same time. The first was the release of a new minigame, the game of all games, SkyBlock. And the second was the introduction of a new creator-style tournament called Minecraft Mondays. Minecraft Mondays was a 14-week-long competition developed by Keemstar with one simple goal in mind: to unite as many YouTubers as possible from a variety of communities to fight in a series of minigames for the grand prize of $10,000 every single week. This event included some of the largest names to ever grace YouTube: Ninja, PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, and how could we forget TechnoBlade. The stakes were high. If TechnoBlade could win these events, not only would he win the $10,000, but he would steal the clout and the viewers of all those he killed. And as his reputation grew, so did his channel. In the following weeks of Minecraft Monday, TechnoBlade became something more than a persona, something much more dangerous. He became the Blood God. His reign of terror began on June 11th, 2019, when he had been placed on a team with shotgun raids. This dynamic duo was one of the most feared teams before the event even began. Everyone was wary of them, but they didn't even know the half of it. After one round of practice, the tournament began. In round 2, the duo came extremely close to victory, racking up 7 kills but dying to Woofles in the final duel. Although they didn't win the first game, this was a team that was capable of killing anyone who stood in their way. In the third round, Techno was done messing around. He went on the aggressive, racking up 3 kills within minutes before dying to an unfortunate explosion. But Shotgun understood the stakes and lived until 3rd place. In the 4th round, they came close once again, placing 4th with 6 eliminations after falling to Vicstar. Techno and Shotgun were in a solid 2nd, and only 70 points behind their biggest rival of the event, Vicstar and Pizza Hut. If they wanted a shot at winning, they would need to end their competition once and for all. To Techno, this was more than just a $10,000 tournament. It was an opportunity to grow a channel built on striking fear to the hearts of his enemies. In the 5th round, both Techno and Shotgun died very early when they got killed by Vicstar. This enraged Techno. His biggest rival in the event had swept them both, making the Blood God look less like a god and more like a false idol. With this early death, Vic's team had secured a strong lead. The tides were about to turn in round 6. Techno went on an absolute killing spree, racking up over 5 kills before sweeping the final team to secure 1st place. In round 7, the Blood God needed sacrifices, and Vicstar was their prime target. And with 7 teams remaining, they finally caught up to Vic and engaged. Pete was comboed by Techno and killed, but not before Vicstar finished him off, leaving Shotgun and Vic to 1v1. Shotgun clutched up and killed Vicstar, knocking their rival down in points. But shortly after this, Shotgun was caught in the storm and got finished off by Skeppy, leaving them in 4th place. By round 8, his seemingly insurmountable lead had dwindled down to a mere 58 points. And with 2 rounds remaining, it was anyone's game. And so, they went on the hunt for Pete and Vic once more. Looking to secure the win once and for all, the chase lasted most of the game until they finally caught up to them and killed them. This game alone skyrocketed them into the lead by 50 points. But just then, Simon, the owner of Hypixel, decided to up the ante. While waiting for round 9, Simon donated $500 to Techno with this message.
If I win this tournament, he'll reward me with the prestigious rank Pig for 1 week. Vic, I'm sorry.
This is a rank never before seen in Hypixel, and one that we will never see again. This event was no longer just about the money, or the clout. It was about the personal glory that he could achieve and the legacy he would cement. For now, he was not only representing himself, but the entire Hypixel community. Since they were in the lead, Techno and Shotgun decided to play it safe, straying away from fighting the skilled players and instead focusing on the weak. But despite this playstyle, Techno's appetite for blood had not ceased. In top 5, they met up with Vic once more, and Techno succeeded, wiping out their biggest competition and placing first with 4 kills. The final round was upon them. As long as they didn't die early, they would secure the win. Their plan was to stay alone in the forest and wait for the opportune moment to strike a weaker team. But they were not alone. Vicstar and Pete decided that it was time to enact revenge, and suddenly, the hunter had become the hunted. Outgeared and outmanned, this was the moment everyone was waiting for. If they lost, they would lose the event. But if they won, they would forever cement themselves in Minecraft Monday's history. Shotgun took on Vic, and Techno took on Pete. And despite their armor disadvantage, the team prevailed. Within seconds, their biggest competition had been eliminated. But instead of settling down for a chill last game, they did the opposite, going on a rampage, getting 6 kills in a victory. Techno had secured the clout, the money, and the pig rank. This stream marked the beginning of an exponential period of growth that would skyrocket TechnoBlade's reputation, not only as a Minecraft YouTuber, but as one of the best Minecraft PvPers to ever live. But while TechnoBlade continued to dominate the remaining weeks of Minecraft Monday, another groundbreaking source of content was released. The game of all games, Hypixel SkyBlock. Only 2 days after its release, on June 15th, 2019, Techno uploaded his first Skyblock video, the Skyblock Experience. It captured the essence of Skyblock, and with the growing popularity of the game, his video took off. Seeing the success, Techno continued to upload, with his next post coming only 4 days later. Over the next 4 months, he continued to upload Skyblock content, doing everything imaginable. From becoming the fastest man alive, to exploring regions never meant to be reached, to slaying the ferocious dragons. Unlike Techno's previous experiences, Skyblock had no PvP combat. So without this inherent challenge, Techno began to search for other ways to satisfy his appetite. But what he didn't expect was to start a war that lasted over 9 months, consuming hours upon hours every single day, and bringing the Skyblock community to their knees as they watched Techno wage this great war. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you the Great Potato War. As history often shows, wars are fought over meaningless reasons. Very little reason is needed when dealing with madmen, and this was no different. Legend has it that the reason this war was started in the first place is because of books. Techno wanted to increase the stats of his armor, and in order to do that, he needed a copious amount of hot potato books. With each book requiring thousands of potatoes to craft, he began the grind. With help from his minions, he was able to get almost all the books in a matter of weeks. What he didn't realize is that he had farmed enough potatoes in this time to reach top 50 players in all of Skyblock. Upon this sudden realization, Techno formed a plan. Determined to prove himself, he began the long trek to first place. But to Techno, it didn't matter. Once he set his mind to something, there was no backing down. He began his grind by getting more minion slots, hoping to amp up his production even while sleeping. Once all the minion slots had been acquired, he began to build the Great Potato Dome, an optimal structure for farming potatoes the fastest. Once the plan was set, TechnoBlade began phase 2 of the plan, researching his enemy. Once you know the enemy, and you know yourself, in 100 battles, you'd never be in peril. By stalking members on the forums, he found his rival, a member by the name of Squid Kid. Using the forums, he was able to calculate his production and realized that he was behind, and with the current place, it would take Techno almost 6 months. Without any sight of a clean victory, Techno would think outside the box if he wanted a chance. This is when he found the fatal flaw in Squid's farm. The minions were placed too close together, resulting in a 90% less efficient farm as long as someone was on the island. So he bought an alt account and began his plan. AFKing on Squid Kid's island 24/7 allowed Techno to catch up in a matter of weeks. Reaching 15 million potatoes, TechnoBlade proclaimed himself the victor, thinking this war would end in an easy victory. But he couldn't be further from the truth. Squid was out for revenge. and this war had just begun. After Techno's video released, interest in potatoes skyrocketed, and others felt pity for Squid, helping him gather resources needed to beat Techno. And slowly, Squid began to catch up, because while Squid Kid was fully focused on the war, TechnoBlade had taken yet another break to focus on Minecraft Monday. While the Blood God lay dormant, Squid Kid began his inevitable rise to power, and so began the True Potato War. Shortly after his video released, he got wind that Squid hadn't given up, and he was coming back to fight stronger than ever. So Techno created the secret plan and a super squad to help him. After only a few weeks, both TechnoBlade and Squid Kid had reached the maximum number of minion slots and had reached optimal output for potato minions. Both sides were intent on winning, and the only option to produce more potatoes was by manually farming them.
Can't believe how much he's farming.
The admins were legit saying that Techno is just like so focused, it baffled them at how like just insane he was. He had no breaks.
I swear to God, this TechnoBlade dude is focused on another level.
Techno's willpower was proven once again, as over the next few weeks, his lead grew by 22 million potatoes. If Squid wanted any chance to catch up, he would need to farm for over 50 hours straight. Techno's lead was so insurmountable, there was nothing Squid could have done. That is, until Simon, the owner of Hypixel, threw out a wildcard: the new release of the Pets update. Each pet had a unique ability that allowed them to boost efficiency in nearly every aspect of the game. Upon crafting the legendary rabbit pet, Techno realized its power. It could boost his production by up to 30% while on the island. This revolution made the war any man's game. By this time, Minecraft Monday had ended, and he was preoccupied with the newer version of the event, Minecraft Championships, so he had to get creative. He couldn't devote as much time as Squid could, meaning he was outmanned and outgunned, but not outsmarted. He created the secret lab and concocted plans that would give him the needed edge on Squid. In the case there were multiple rabbit pets on the island, the boosts of the first one would take priority, meaning by having a level 1 rabbit pet on Squid Kid's island at all times, he could completely negate the rabbit pet's efficiency. With no end in sight, both parties agreed that the first person to 500 million potatoes would win and be crowned the Potato King. And so, the final leg of the race had begun, with both farming hours a day until June 6, 2020, when a new update shook farming forever. With the addition of 2 new items, the work everyone had done in the past few months could be blown out of the water in a matter of days. The first is a new enchantment that allowed you to automatically replant crops, and the second one is an item that eliminated the need to manually craft. With the new items, farming was suddenly 6 times more efficient, meaning Techno's lead could be obliterated in a matter of days. Now it was a war not of potatoes, but of will. Whoever was strong enough to grind the most non-stop would win the war. Soon enough, 2 weeks after the update, TechnoBlade started a live stream. This is no normal live stream. For the past few months, he had been deceiving Squid, because as Sun Tzu once said, "Appear weak when you were strong, strong when you were weak." And when Techno was at his strongest, he appeared to be at his low. Squid Kid underestimated the amount of potatoes TechnoBlade had farmed by up to 80 million. And during that live stream, he reached the goal: 500 million potatoes farmed.
Watch me dance, Squid Kid, you lose! You lose the war!
He had won the war, and forever solidified himself as the Potato King. His reign ruled not by one of bloodshed, but by one of pure willpower. The TechnoBlade was far from done. With the conclusion of the Great Potato War, he turned his attention elsewhere. This time, nothing could stop him from achieving his goal: world domination. The date is December 1st, 2019. Techno uploads his first video on SMP Earth. From the instant the SMP started, Techno had his eyes on world domination. Second place is not a word in TechnoBlade's vocabulary, so he hatched a plan. First step was to get materials, which he gathered from Africa.
That's the first step to any world domination plan. We're stealing resources from Africa.
After robbing Africa of most of its riches, Techno journeyed to the faraway land of Antarctica to begin his plan of world domination. He recruited Philza and Pete into the plan, and so the Antarctic Empire was born. Roughly 2 weeks after its foundation, the Antarctic Empire began its goals of world conquest, flying the entire border of the map and claiming most of the territory as property of Antarctica. Unshockingly, this act of aggression angered many other players on the server whose land had just been claimed by a foreign power. Wilbur Soot, one of the biggest activists, held a trial to set ground rules and to break up the Antarctic Empire's plans of world domination. With the laws set into motion, TechnoBlade's plans would have to wait. In this time of peace, the Antarctic Empire thrived, growing to unprecedented heights until until one man threatened to ruin it all. The most dangerous threat TechnoBlade would ever face had arisen, and his name was Tommy Innit.
I'm so strong! Watch me!
Okay, so maybe Tommy was more of a nuisance than a real threat, but Tommy wanted to prove himself, and he began to raid and attack the giant bridge that connected Antarctica to the rest of the world. And so began the Battle of the Bridges.
Go. He's blocked the bridge. He's shots fired.
Oh, what the hell? What's that? Now that. Pell.
Dead?
He's gone.
Techno enlisted the help of the server's unofficial judge, Wilbur Soot, and scoured the world to put an end to Tommy and his hostilities once and for all. The following battle took place across the world. This was the chase of a century. But this war wasn't about winning. It was about leaving a message. And so, the Antarctic Empire massacred Tommy without remorse. Outgeared and outmanned, Tommy made one final stand to emerge triumphant. He challenged TechnoBlade to a duel at his own base. Unshockingly, Techno crushed him. What Techno didn't know is that this was part of Tommy's plan. And in the following chase, he led Techno to the middle of the desert where he set an inconspicuous trap. Of course, Techno didn't fall for it, and realizing he had been soundly defeated, Tommy made a speech to end all hostilities. And in classic Tommy fashion, the speech backfired and united the rest of the players against him, until eventually they signed the Treaty of Japan. This marked the end of Techno's world domination on SMP Earth, but the beginning of a new challenge for Techno to dominate, one that would prove his skill over and over again against some of the best players in the world. Minecraft Championships.